Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss, and you're watching my kind of pretty late review for Tokyo Ravens episode 17. I just fired, so sorry if my energy for this review is kind of low. Um, but yeah, I'll just get into it. Um, this episode starts off where we left off. Eto ends up asking Natsume if she can store some of her power inside this like onmyoji tool like item thing, and she doesn't really answer at all. So he just says, okay, whatever, bye, or he just starts to leave. But then Shaver views him as a threat to those guys, so he jumps over and kills him. Not really because he's still alive. He just attacks him. He thought he killed him, but he didn't. And the rest of the episode is mostly Shaver attacking people. Pretty much. There was some stuff with Amami and Kurahashi and Soma towards the end, but the majority of the episode is Shaver going nuts. All right, he's looking for people to have fun with. Okay, and all this started when Ato ended up not being dead, and he reached for that tool thing, and Shaver stabbed him in the hand, and that caused a lot of miasma to be released and for phase 3 spirit disasters to come out of nowhere. Well, not come out of nowhere, but come from the miasma and absorb it and all that stuff. All right. And Natsume and Harutora and them, they try to fight back, but it just doesn't work. They can't really do anything. Harutora used this spell. Harutora's actually getting smarter because he was able to determine what the spirit disaster was made out of and use the ideal spell for that type of spirit disaster. So he's getting smarter. His battle IQ is definitely going up. But still, it didn't end up doing anything. It cut it a little bit, but that's about it. It ended up healing afterwards. But a Shaver ended up showing up and taking that one out. And he sees the kids fighting back, so he's like, oh, no, don't attack them, attack me. I want to have some fun. So he starts attacking them to try to get them to fight back against him. And Natsume tries to defend everyone with Hokuto, but, it doesn't really work for very long. A bunch of Onmyoji show up from the agency and tell them to retreat. They end up trying to hold off Shaver while also fighting against those spirit disasters. But I don't really know what the point of these guys were because later on when we come outside, those Onmyoji are nowhere to be found, but the spirit disasters are still there. Alright, so I don't really... Where'd these guys go? Seriously. They literally just disappear. And everyone forgets about them too. Ato as well. They just forgot about Ato. So that's kind of weird. Maybe maybe they were all like in cahoots or something like that with Ato, and they were all Yaku devotees or something like that, and they took him away, and I don't know, but I just thought it was weird that these guys showed up and then disappeared for the rest of the episode, even when all the kids went back outside. Even after everything was settled, and they were talking about Natsume, they still weren't there. So I really don't know what happened to these guys, but yeah, Natsume and Harutora and Kyoko. I think that was it. I think those were the only people that were there. They end up going inside. Shaver ends up following them in because Onmyoji didn't do their jobs very well. And Tenma and Toji and Suzuka, they show up. Alright, and they try and stop Shaver, but he still is not staying down. He's still getting back up and attacking them. And he ends up getting hit by Hokuto again, but boom, that's all it takes. That's all it takes. He ends up stabbing Hokuto, and then Hokuto has to call Natsume has to call Hokuto back before it gets like legit destroyed. So Harutora decides to take Natsume and just run with her, and Toji and the others hold her back. There was some scene with Kyoko here. I didn't really get why she was acting the way she was. I guess it was because of Natsume and she was worried about him, but I mean, it was never really clear. I mean, if she was worried about him, you'd think that she would want to protect him instead of standing there while Shaver got closer and closer. But I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't really matter at all, really. Harutora and Natsume leave. Toji and Suzuka try and stop Shaver, but it doesn't really work. He keeps following them, and Natsume and Harutora end up going to the area where the other students are, and Shaver follows him in there too. And he's still beating them still, and he ends up hitting Natsume with wind pretty much. He swings his sword down, and the force of it creates wind, and it destroys her clothes in true anime fashion. All right, true anime fashion. Right, destroys her clothes, and people end up finding out that she's a girl. And Shaver just added insult to injury. He started just taunting her, like pointing, like poking her chest with his sword, just taunting her, calling her a liar and a fraud and all this. And Artur started to get mad because he wanted to stop him, but he couldn't. He just didn't have the power to, and every time he tried, it just didn't work. And he want the not the exact phrase that he used, but kind of. He said that he was mad that he didn't have the power to protect her, and that he wasn't a strong enough spirit seer. But then he realized that he wasn't a natural spirit seer. He wasn't one from birth or anything like that. He had to get that power through Natsume when she made him her familiar. And he uses that connection with Natsume in order to, I guess, draw power from her. And he also uses some of the hints he got from Kagami last episode, and he awakens, like I said in the title. He just all of a sudden he just gets really, really good. This was awesome. It really was. He easily uses Suzuka's spell to restrain Shaver. Like he was just walking calmly and everything. Like he was just super simple. And then he ends up using Natsume to draw Shaver into the courtyard. Then he uses Otomo's spell, and this time it works. And like it did, unlike a couple episodes ago, right? And like I said before, these other Onmyoji have disappeared, but the spirit disasters are still there. And one of them swallows Harutora and Kon, but he ends up setting it on fire by working with Kon and using this technique that he also used inside the building. But it didn't work at the time. Now it did because he has a stronger source of fire because the spirit disaster he used it on was based off of wood, I think, which, wood, fire, burns, so the fire was stronger. And he ended up copying Kagami, I believe, Reiji, using one of his spells, and using that fire to take out Shaver, and that's that. Only the sword is left, because that was the talisman or whatever that he was using. And after that, Harutora ends up explaining everything to all the others about Natsume and everything. And Kyoko takes it pretty hard, which is understandable, since though she was just told that the person she was in love with is actually a girl. So she's probably like really confused right now, and she doesn't know how she should feel. Which, like I said, is perfectly understandable. If you're in love with someone and that person ends up being the same gender as you, and you are straight, and it's just like you still have feelings for them, but at the same time you don't. Like it's really weird. Like that's a really interesting situation. So I kind of I do feel for Kyoko. She'll probably recover from it at some point. The last scene we see of her is her calling Natsume a liar, and it looks like she hasn't gotten over it yet, and she's still mad. But I think in the end, she will get over it though, because she's a main character, and I don't think she's going to just turn into a villain. Well, then again, her dad. Well, actually, yeah, that's the rest of this episode is the stuff with her dad and Amami. First, Amami gets a call from Mio, but he ignores it because he gets interrupted by that one Divine General guy who I don't trust and I think is kind of suspicious. Um, and the two of them end up reporting to Kyoko's dad about how they weren't able to completely. Well, it's mostly Amami. He's reporting to Kyoko's dad about how he couldn't take out everyone in the Twin Horn Syndicate. There's still the main guys are still out there pretty much because he couldn't find out anything about them. And Amami also ends up saying that someone was controlling Soma, and that person controlling her probably isn't part of the Twin Horn Syndicate because she killed Makihara, who was a part of the Twin Horn Syndicate. And he also said that the reasoning why another reason is because she used those Imperial pallbearers, which are exclusive to the Soma family or some. I wasn't really sure what to make of this. Soma is apparently the only direct descendant left in this in this Soma family, even though Shido Dairenji's former family name was Soma, which would technically mean that Suzuka is descendant from them as well. But I guess there's some, I don't know what's really going on with all this family stuff, but the point is that Amami knew that Soma was being controlled by someone who wasn't part of the Twin Horn Syndicate. And it turns out that Kyoko's dad is actually aligned with Soma, aka the person controlling her, probably. And when he's questioned by Amami regarding this, he doesn't really give him an actual answer. He kind of dodges it. And the interesting thing is, after this, we see a little jump cut, and we see Soma picking up a burnt fan, which means that something happened to Amami. He was probably dealt with by one or both of them. And then the two of them decide they're going to go meet Natsume at some point soon, even though Soma's already met her, but whatever. So Kyoko's dad is looking like he's going to be an enemy here, and Kyoko might turn into an enemy too if her dad is an enemy, and it's possible. So yeah, if Kyoko really does dislike Natsume for lying to her, and her dad goes to see Natsume with Soma, then maybe she might align with him. But so that's just something to look forward to. But yeah, as far as this episode goes, I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10. It really was pretty awesome. Harutora awakened, and that was epic. All right. But, you know, yeah, hopefully next week I'll have more energy, and I'll do this review before running or something like that. But, yeah, hopefully I'll have it out by Tuesday. But, yeah, that's it for now, you guys. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.